Good evening. You're watching the late news on HKIBC. I'm Raymond Yeung. Here are tonight's top stories. Mega bridge linking Hong Kong to Zhuhai and Macau finally opens. Taxi driver put in police headlock before his death, ruled to have been killed unlawfully. Thorough safety tests needed at 3 stations on Sha Tin to Central Link, according to experts. Around 2,000 vehicles traveled on the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge as it opened for traffic today, a mere 7% of its long-term target. But Transport Minister Frank Chan was confident that the usage rate will gradually build up. Yu Ping reports.
It may not seem like it, but the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge opened to traffic at 9 a.m. today. Only a handful of vehicles, mostly cross-border coaches, were seen making its way across the Pearl River Delta, using the world's longest sea bridge and tunnel link. The traffic observed today was a far cry from the 29,000 vehicles the government hoped the bridge would draw daily by 2030. Still, Transport Secretary Frank Chan said it was normal for any infrastructure to see light usage at the beginning.
Some 30,000 tourists will be coming over from the mainland to Hong Kong. So we'll keep close watch of the situation and try to mobilize more resources and enabling our handling capacity and performance so as to give all Hong Kong citizens and passengers a pleasant traveling experience.
With the mega bridge now in use, travelers have an extra option to travel to Zhuhai and Macau. This tourist from Jiangsu said she was planning to take the ferry from Hong Kong to Macau. But when I heard about the bridge's opening, I changed my mind, she said, explaining she prefers taking a bus as it was more comfortable. Except for those with special private car permits, most travelers are expected to utilize shuttle buses, which operate around the clock between Hong Kong and the 2 cities across the Pearl River Delta. Each trip costs $65 during the day and $70 at night. That's roughly $100 cheaper than taking a ferry from Hong Kong to Macau. A journey from Hong Kong to Macau typically takes 40 minutes, slightly faster than a ferry, although passengers must spend more time to reach the city center from the boundary control points. Those who prefer a hustle-free experience with a point-to-point service can hop onto cross-border coaches from one of many stops across Hong Kong. Depending on the destination, fares range from $120 to over $200. But this passenger was far from thrilled with the experience. That's because, including time for immigration clearance, it took him 3 hours and 40 minutes to reach Macau from Kwun Tong. Private cars are banned from the 55-kilometer link unless you hold one of 5,000 special permits, although more will be issued in the future. Alternatively, drivers could leave their rides at the Hong Kong boundary crossing before switching to the shuttle bus. Parking at the crossing will set you back $160 each day, and drivers must reserve one of around 330 spots in advance. A maximum of 3 days is allowed for each booking, after which the fees will be doubled. Another 330 spots will be set aside for non-reserved hourly parking with much steeper rates, $910 for the first 24 hours. Yu Ping, HKIBC.
A coroner's inquest has ruled that a 65-year-old taxi driver who died a month after being put in a headlock by police 6 years ago was killed unlawfully. This means the officers involved could now be criminally prosecuted over the victim's death. Here's Yu Ping.
Instead of celebrating Chan Fai-won's 71st birthday today, his wife and 2 daughters turned up at the coroner's court in black for his inquest. Thank you, the jury, the wife said after the 5 jurors ruled by 3-2 that her husband was unlawfully killed 6 years ago during a police arrest. She did not say whether she would seek compensation from the force. The tragedy happened in November 2012 when officers were called to handle a